What's up, Warner Coffee fam? It's Kai, and we are back, kicking off season 2, and things have slightly changed for us. We will have weekly contributions from strangers all over the world discussing various topics chosen by yours truly. And this is the first time these contributors have spoken to one another, so you are in for a real treat. Without further ado, here's Ron and Damien with Sex Health Equals Wealth. Wealth equals health?
I don't even know what we're talking about. What are we talking about?
Yeah, maybe. Just about to look at the email thing or whatever. Hold on. One sec. What are we talking about? I think it's a topic that I did before, so I'm not sure, but we'll see. Hold on. Bear. All right, it is sex health equals wealth. Wealth equals health. So I did do something kind of like that before, but hold on, let me close this door before people start bothering me while we record.
Yeah, fair enough, man.
Okay.
Let's turn this up. So sex equals wealth and health?
Yeah. So I think it's going to talk about, like, if you're sex positive, or like sex, if you're having healthy sex, does that equal wealth? And does wealth equal health? Or something? We'll just BS through it.
Hey, let's just have fun, man. I'm good with this. This can either be really funny or it's going to be funny. That's how we're going to roll.
So just real quick before we start, you've met Kahiso before. How do you know her?
Yeah, I actually went to Purdue with Kahiso, and actually she knows my wife as well. We knew each other through different classes.
Wait, hold on. I got to take this call. Hold on just a second. Hello?
Hello?
Who is this?
It's Little Mookie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you got your package and that you can... Yeah, so put it all together, right? And then connect it to Wi-Fi, restart it, and then try to log in with the first part of your email and your jump cloud password. Okay.
Yeah, I think the instructions all like in the email.
Right? It is. Yep. And then text me if you have a problem. All right. All right. Bye. No worries. All right. Bye. All right. Cool. Let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Yeah. So I went to school with Kahiso too. We were in the same grade. I went to Purdue.
Oh, you went to your boy as well. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was a political science major. I don't know what you were.
I was a whole bunch of different majors, but I settled on industrial technology. So Kahiso was very like all over, knew everybody. So
yeah, I had her in a couple poli-sci classes and actually a couple film classes. And I think my wife said she was in debate or speech or something with her. So I mean, it was just it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Oh well.
All right, cool. Let's start off. Hey, Rod, good to talk with you today. We're going to talk about does sex equal health, does wealth equal health, and all that together. So I'm glad to speak with you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I will say, no matter how far we get into this, I think I've always kind of ran by the same philosophy of look good, feel good, play good. I could see how this would tie into this discussion. So.
Right.
I'm excited to have some fun with this.
Right. So, yeah. So, I think I look at like a lot of different cultures and you look at a lot of different religions and things like that. And you have a lot of people who are, say, Christian and they stay abstinent until they're married. You've got priests who are abstinent for their whole lives. But some would say that they have an abundance of wealth, maybe not the monetary wealth, but they have the abundance of health with religion and wealth of life and community and things like that. So I think that maybe not necessarily does it link to that, but I know for myself personally, sex does equal health.
Yeah, I think that's kind of funny you bring that up because, yes, I would agree. And I think the whole principle to your point is, you got to really define what wealth really is to the individual. It's going to be in the eye of the beholder, so to speak. And it's like that, I've managed people from a professional perspective, and it's that same thing, right? What does success mean to you? So, okay.
Right.
For me, if I'm Barney Stinson, I have to throw that character reference out there.
Right.
I mean, he's the wealthiest guy in the world if you ask him, because, man, he's living the dream. He's living the life, right? And,
yeah.
But then you've got the other, let's keep in pop culture there for a second, even for How I Met Your Mother, which obviously was just on at some point recently.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got the other guy who, Ted, he's just looking for love. But
right.
He's having some regular sex in there, but you would think that he's the brokest guy in the world. So,
right. Right.
I think that society has really given that vision in a multitude of ways. Right, to your point, priests. Right, that's their wealth is strong in the faith, and their obedience to that or abstinence of that practice. I guess it's again
commendable.
Yeah. Right. I couldn't do it. I couldn't even think about not thinking about doing it. That's not going to fall on my court.
Right. Well, I think that, a lot of times if you look at sports, right, we can look at this question from a different angle as well. If you look at sports and things like that, boxers, mixed martial arts champions, basketball players going into the championship round, a lot of them abstain, right? And it allows them to perform better. But I know many of them are actually married, right? So maybe this question could be broadened, right? Because if you have a strong partner, with you in your life, you may not be having sex that week or that month or things like that, but their faith in you and their partnership with you allows you to be healthy, right? Allows you to be successful. And many people say, like, within the work world, having a stable marriage, a stable relationship allows you to focus on other things at the job and generating actual monetary wealth, right?
That is a very that's a key point. And you think about that, it is that confidence that's driven upon you, because to your point, right, there is this belief, there is this faith that we'll stay with the athletes for just a second there, right? I mean, if they have faith in their partner, and then the partner has faith in them, and they realize, they're not going to go all Rocky and say sex weakens legs, then, that's, to your point, they can focus on what's immediate at hand. And whether it's the average Joe like or us, or if it's, LeBron, I mean, I guess there's a good name to throw out there. The focus is immediately what's ahead of us, and that's the wealth that we're typically going for. We almost typically fall back. Right. As almost like that comes as part of the wealth. But wealth for me I couldn't be considered myself wealthy. And I wouldn't consider myself monetarily overly. I'm fine, but at the same time, it's like, I'm doing all right. But it's like, I wouldn't sit here and say, I would sit here and say I'm wealthy in the fact that I've got a really good marriage, and the health part of the sex thing. If she listens to this, she's going to hit me. But at the same time, it allows me to focus on my job so that I can provide for all three of my children. So to your point, that is a very good point to bring up.
Yeah, I mean, the same with me. I do. I have a kid as well, and I look to my wife to give me stabilization, right? And I think that wives look to their husbands to do that as well. And I think that a relationship that is stable, has a lot of love, right? And there'll be intercourse in that, and that gives you power. I know, unlike these athletes, I'm not an athlete or things like that. I don't have any championship games or anything to do. So I do believe, having sex, gives me strength to go day to day, right? It helps me out in a good way. But I know others, athletes, like we said, look at that thing at the other way when they hit rough challenges. So, I think it all depends on the type of person, who you're around, who you grow up with, how your family grew up. If you're not in a religious family, sex is just, whatever. If you're in a religious family, it's it's this taboo, this forbidden taboo. So I think that creates a train of thought that, influences you for the rest of your life. Now, I think the other part of the question was, does wealth equal health? And this is tough for me because, as we said, you can be happy and things in life and your life can be enjoyable. But if you don't have money, especially in this country, in America, if you don't have monetary wealth, I don't know if you can actually be healthy. I don't know if you can actually get the foods that you need at grocery stores. I don't know if you can even survive into old age if you're impoverished. What do you think?
I like that. I like where you went with that. And now you can kind of connect all the key dots together. Yeah. Because, I look at it in the sense that, to your point, is exactly correct. This country, I'm a fat kid. And I'm not going to always, I hope I'm not always a fat kid. But when it comes down to it, it's so much more affordable to eat like a fat kid than it is to go out. And frankly, I actually find myself to be the healthiest fat kid in the world. But
that's good.
Yeah, but long story short, it's like, okay, now let's tie it back to the sex piece, because now I'm thinking almost a different lane that we were talking about from the championship game perspective. Yeah. Think about from a work perspective, every attitude affects behavior affects skill, and obviously when all three are going the right way, that brings to top level performance. Well, I can say I'm in a pretty damn good mood after I get some, and so I'm happy. I go to work, I'm in a very enlightened mood, and then I'm going to be like, I can do this. My behaviors become better, and then I get better at my job. So, tie it all together. If I'm doing really well at my job, I'm going to make great money, and if I make great money, I'm going to have that wealth. But again, we still need to step back and say every individual needs to define what wealth is. If it's monetarily, this is the track we have to go on. If it's not monetarily, now we got to find out what it is that they would have access to that I guess would be the adverse to having money, right? Health, being health, can a priest afford to eat well, right? Although gluttony is a sin, right? So, they're probably eating relatively better than I am anyway.
Yeah, I think, through the church organization, they've got money to eat. But I think I'm in Austin, Texas, right? And we have a lot of homeless people, especially downtown, and the homeless shelters, they overflow, right? And you drive in your car and you drive past them. You can see them telling jokes, having fun. They seem to be enjoying life, right? But they look rough. They look like nutritionally, they are on the verge of like starving in most cases. And so I think that, you can be healthy spiritually, you can be healthy mentally, but can you be alive, right, if you don't have that monetary wealth? Some countries, yes, but I just know growing up here in America that you need access to some sort of funds so that you can be vibrant enough, right, so that you find a mate that fits your personality, and so that you can have regular sex, right? And then you can go to that good job because they've empowered you to go to school and get a degree and do good at the job interview. And then your boss is like you said, feel like, wow, Ron, you're doing crazy. Like you just some vibe, some glow about you right now. All of that stuff is a chain reaction, and unfortunately has a lot of monetary ties. And I do believe though that, you don't have to strive to be a billionaire, right? You can make enough to support yourself and support your family, right? And then not be greedy, right? And when you have enough wealth to survive, then you can really focus on building wealth through interactions with family and friends and, extracurriculars and job stuff. You can really focus on those things as long as you can eat.
To your point though, and I'm with you on this, America is very, very difficult to live in. I think our age, our generation has had it rough. Personally, we've got the most from a school loan perspective, the most from a debt perspective. Just studies show it. That's fine. I guess theoretically, though, we all have the freedom to get out of this country if we so chose, right?
Right.
And think about healthy, right? So think about just migrating. Now, I would love the weather in Austin, Texas, a hell of a lot better than moving up to the frigid Canadian airs. Yeah. But you look at that, you've got a different set of what can be considered wealth up there compared to us.
Are you in Canada, or where are you at right now?
No, I'm sorry. I'm in Columbus, Ohio, but I'm just thinking, in general terms, the idea of, hey, healthcare is part of the government. There is a little bit more of a social effort in Canadian in the Canadian way, right?
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. It's we've made some very rich people, we've made some very poor people in this country, and we've had a hard time balancing it out. Whereas I think Canada might actually have it a little bit more down pat to keep the levels a little bit more balanced.
The only thing is, it's like the freezer on top of the party, the refrigerator where all the food is. It's just too cold.
Robin Williams, man, Canada is like the loft above a great party. Yep.
Yeah, right. I mean, look, if Canada was where America was, or like Mexico was, I would be over the border in a minute. Okay, so
I would much rather strive towards wealth in America, and figure out, and if it means getting laid, every so often with the wife and working well and getting my money from that perspective, I'm all game for that. I'm in for that long haul.
Yeah, I think that America does offer some unique, opportunities, some unique values that you can't get from other places like Canada. Canada, totally a Western country. Mexico's got nice beaches and things like that, and it's a fun place to be. But here in America, I think that you have not only the freedom to sort of find yourself in a way that, if you are successful in finding yourself and you do stuff that you love, you'll be monetarily rewarded in that way, that you might not get in other countries, or at least with taxes and things like that. Mm-hmm. So it allows you to be a little bit, healthier, right? I mean, healthcare is one thing that is missing. But again, like you, like me, I'm born in America. I just love it. It's just what I know, and many people from overseas, love us as well. Love coming to the country and just trying to make it and things like that. So, yeah, I think it's good. I think it all is, America, as far as like with advertisement and entertainment, sex is like a huge part. I mean, that's in everything that we do, even innocuous things, right? Sports, fashion, everything. Sex is always there, right? And the successful people of us, whether it's monetarily or just personally, are able to find, wealth and health in different forms. It comes to them. So
it would be funny to do a conversation on the back side of this, right? So,
right.
Does wealth bring sex, right, or does sex bring wealth? How do you play around with that idea, right? I mean,
we can do it. We got a few more minutes. I mean, I think it does, right? Because if you're healthy, right, you're looking good, you got a six-pack, you're going to attract, right? If you got a bank account full of money, you're going to attract, right? So I think even at all angles, whether it's like greed or just, hey, I'm a fitness person, being wealthy, it brings you options.
And I'll take my bank account and the keg that I got going on over here as opposed to the six-pack. I'm one of those, I'm proud of what I've got bought and paid for there. So, trimming down to a six-pack isn't in the cards. I think, no, seriously, the idea there, let's turn back to sports, right? I mean, how many of those athletes would be as sexually active or very, in the spotlight of the pop culture of sexism? Sexism probably not the right word there, but the pop culture reference or spotlight of being sex icons, would they be if they weren't a star?
If they were what?
If they weren't wealthy, if they weren't in the spotlight as an A, B, C list or whatever, Right.
Well, I think for men, it's a little bit different, right? You can kind of, not be physically fit, but you can have a great personality, right? And you can, and if you have money, so if you can tell jokes, right, you can attract, right? If you got money, right, you can attract, right? Women, it's a little bit different, as far as men, we want them to look good. I don't know if that's unfortunate or not unfortunate, but they've got to be attracted to our eye. But I think as far as the male athletes, especially in the NFL, NBA, and to an extent hockey, they attract because they're at the peak level of human physical, I don't know, greatness, right? And they're being paid insane money that, hopefully me and you will see, but most likely we'll never see.
No, they're part of that 1% that I may never touch in my lifetime, and they get that luckily to play a kids game, which, man, I wish I was able to do. But that being said,
gotta invest in some crypto, man.
I tell you what, these last couple of weeks, not only between crypto but also the regular stocks I got going, man, it's been a fun ride. So
yeah, it is. It has been good. Well, man, hey, thanks for the conversation. This was good. I hope to see you again. I know we do a little rotation with conversations with different people, so I hope to see you again.
Right on, Damien. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon, my friend.
All right, Ron. Hold on. All right, cool. So let me just stop the recording.
This one was a funny topic. I did not expect the conversation to go in this direction. And well done for you guys bringing it full circle and actually making it make sense. Catch us next week for a brand new episode with brand new contributors. If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at WannaCoffeePod. That's WannaCoffeePod. I'm your host, Kai, and let's Wanna Coffee next week. Cheers.
Oh my god! Orange is not my new black.